You think you have days, maybe even weeks? You've seen the movies, you've read the books. The collapse is always a slow creeping thing, a gradual descent into madness over seasons. But that is a comforting lie, a fantasy we tell ourselves to make the unthinkable manageable. The truth is far more terrifying, and it happens in the space of a single, heartbeat-skipping moment. The real collapse, the one that seals your fate, happens in the first 60 minutes. The clock starts ticking the second the lights go out and don't come back on. And what you do, or more importantly, what you don't do, in that single precious hour will determine whether you live or die. This isn't about the weeks without food. This is about the first 60 minutes without power, without answers, and without the thin veneer we call civilization. The very first thing that dies isn't the grid, it's the human mind. The moment you realize the phone has no signal, the car won't start, and the neighbor's generator is silent, a primal switch flips. Your modern brain, the part that plans your schedule and pays your bills, gets hijacked. Panic isn't just an emotion. It's a chemical cascade, a biological command that floods your system, shutting down logic and prioritizing raw, stupid impulse. And you are not the only one. Every single person in your city, in your street, is experiencing the exact same neurological riot. This is the foundation of the danger hour. A metropolis of 7 million people suddenly reverting to a herd of 7 million panicked animals, all at the same time. The first survival technique, then, isn't about your gear. It's about hacking your own brain. You must force a cognitive override. Breathe. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. This isn't meditation. It's a physiological interrupt signal for your central nervous system. It forces your heart rate down, and with it, the grip of panic loosens just enough for the prefrontal cortex, the part of you that can actually think, to come back online. Your first weapon is your own calm. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. While you're fighting that internal battle, the external world is already fracturing. The most immediate and deafening threat is the silence. We live in a world of constant low-grade hum. The refrigerator, the HVAC, the distant traffic. When that vanishes, the void it leaves is filled with a different sound, the sound of confusion. This is when you'll hear the first car crashes. Not the big cinematic pileups, but the fender benders at the intersection down the street. Traffic lights are dead. Every intersection is now a four-way stop governed by chaos. Drivers already disoriented will make fatal assumptions. That initial crunch of metal is the starter pistol for the danger hour. It's the first tangible, audible proof that the rules are gone. Your second move is to become a ghost. Do not, under any circumstance, go outside to see what happened. You are not a spectator. You are potential prey. Move to the most interior room of your home, away from windows. Your job is to listen. Identify the sounds of the new world. The crashes, the first shouts, the sound of glass breaking. This is your real-time intelligence feed. It tells you where the initial flashpoints are, where the first crowd is forming, where you must avoid at all costs when you are eventually forced to move. And you will be forced to move because the third event is already underway. An invisible killer creeping through the streets. The water pressure is failing. In a modern municipal system, water towers and pumping stations are the heart and lungs of a city. And they just had a massive coronary. They run on electricity. Without it, the pressure drops, and then it stops. But here's what nobody tells you. It's not just about being thirsty tomorrow. It's about what happens in the pipes right now. The moment pressure drops, a siphon effect can occur, pulling contaminants from the ground, from broken sewage lines, into the water main. That glass of seemingly clear water you pour for yourself in hour 2 could be a cocktail of cholera and E. coli. Your third survival imperative is to act in that first hour, before everyone else realizes the tap is a death sentence. Fill every container you own. Bathtubs, pots, buckets, Ziploc bags. But you have to be smarter than that. Before you even turn the tap, you must seal the overflow drain of your bathtub with duct tape. Otherwise, you'll lose hundreds of gallons of life-giving water down the drain. This simple, 1-minute act could save your life weeks from now. By now, maybe 25 minutes in, the herd mentality is solidifying. People are pouring into the streets, not as rioters, not yet, but as a confused mass seeking answers. This is the most dangerous phase. A crowd in this state is a superorganism, and its intelligence is zero. It operates on rumor and fear. Someone shouts, "They're giving out supplies at the mall," and a stampede begins. Someone else yells, "It's a terror attack," and the mob turns into a weapon. Your fourth technique is to understand the topology of fear. You need to know, right now in this first hour, every single back alley, every broken fence line, every drainage culvert, and every forgotten footpath within a 2-mile radius of your home. The main roads will become rivers of human desperation, blocked by abandoned cars and surging crowds. Your escape routes, your pathways to a safer location, cannot be roads. They must be the unseen arteries of your neighborhood, the path behind the supermarket, The creek bed that runs under the highway, the connective tissue of your urban environment that only someone who has truly looked would ever see. And finally, as the hour draws to a close, the last pillar falls. Information. The battery on your phone is at 15%. The portable radio is picking up nothing but static. You are about to go blind. This is the moment of ultimate psychological vulnerability, when the true weight of isolation crushes down. Your fifth and most critical move is to sever your emotional attachment to the before times. Stop trying to call your family 3 states away. Stop refreshing the dead apps. That chapter is closed. The information you need is no longer global. It is hyperlocal. Who is in charge on your street? Is there a neighbor organizing a watch or one starting to loot? What are the patterns of movement outside? This is your new data set. Conserve your device's battery for one thing and one thing only. To use its camera as a long-range reconnaissance tool from the safety of your window. Document who and what you see. That man kicking in a door 3 houses down isn't just a criminal. He is a strategic piece of intelligence. His behavior tells you everything about the new rules of this new world. The danger hour is over. The world you knew is gone, but if you've mastered your mind, secured your water, mapped your unseen routes, and shifted your intelligence gathering, you are no longer a victim of the collapse. You have just survived the most critical 60 minutes of your life, and you are now a survivor in the world that comes next. And now, you've entered the most critical transition phase. The moment the initial shock wears off and the real cold calculating fear sets in for everyone around you. You've secured your mind, your water, and your intelligence. But now we enter the realm of social dynamics, which in the first hour are more volatile than any chemical reaction. You see, right around the 45-minute mark, a dangerous new thought begins to germinate in the minds of your neighbors, your friends, the people you wave to every morning. Someone must be in control. This is when you'll see the first leaders emerge. It might be the guy with the loudest voice, the one with the biggest truck, or the one holding a rifle on his front porch. Their intentions might even be good, but in the danger hour, any centralized action is a target. A group forming on a street corner is a beacon, signaling that this is a place with resources, with people, with organization. And beacons attract 2 things, the desperate and the predatory. Your 6th technique is to practice strategic invisibility. This doesn't mean cowering in the dark. It means presenting a profile of total, uninteresting scarcity. While others are lighting candles, you use blackout curtains. While others are running generators, you have silent solar-charged battery banks. You must become a gray man, a ghost in your own neighborhood, long before anyone even thinks to start taking inventory of who has what. The goal is to make your home look like it was abandoned a week ago. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. This leads directly into the 7th and perhaps most counterintuitive insight of the first hour, the immediate weaponization of everyday objects. You are not going to be fighting off hordes with a fancy combat knife. The real threats are simpler, closer, and more insidious. Your greatest weapon in the first 60 minutes is not a firearm. It's a simple $4 tool, a crescent wrench. Why? Because in the moments after the blackout, the number 1 cause of death won't be violence. It will be infrastructure failure and the stupid mistakes that follow. That natural gas line running to your house is now a silent, invisible bomb waiting for a single spark. If the pressure fluctuates or a pilot light goes out, gas begins to fill confined spaces. Your 7th move, once you have secured water, is to locate your main gas shutoff valve and know how to use that wrench to turn it. The same goes for the water main. To protect the water you've already stored from being contaminated or drained by a burst pipe later. You are not just surviving the people. You are surviving the corpse of the city itself, and a corpse releases all kinds of toxins. And this brings us to the final master technique of the danger hour, the one that separates the prepper from the true survivor. You must not think in terms of things, but in terms of systems. It's not about having a can of beans. It's about having a way to open it silently, cook it without smoke, and dispose of the scent so it doesn't travel. It's not about having a weapon. It's about having an early warning system that doesn't require power. Before that first hour is up, you should have already deployed your porcupine quills. Simple, passive defenses that buy you time and information. A line of empty glass bottles placed carefully along a fence line will topple with a crash long before a person reaches your window. A few strands of fishing wire at ankle height across a dark backyard path become an invisible tripwire that can give you a precious 10-second warning. These aren't complex traps. They are sensory extensions, allowing you to rest, to think, to plan while the rest of the world is still screaming in the streets. The clock has run out. The danger hour is over. What you have now is not the world you knew, but the world you have assessed, secured, and understood on a primal level. You are no longer a citizen waiting for rescue. You have become the governor of your own tiny, dark, silent kingdom. You have stabilized the initial collapse within your sphere of control. You have water, you have intelligence, you have security, and most importantly, you have a plan that is based not on hope, but on the harsh, unforgiving physics of a broken world. The long night is just beginning, but you have already won the most important battle, the battle against the clock, and the battle against the panic inside your own